Most people know they should be automating parts of their job. Almost none of them actually do it. Not because they lack time, and not because they lack the tools. They stall because every guy they find assumes they already know what they're doing. This one doesn't. By the end of this, you will have picked one real task from your actual job, built a working automation around it, and finished it before Monday morning. That is the only goal here. Let me start with why this matters more than it sounds. When a company starts trimming roles, the people who survive are almost never the most senior or the most liked. They are the ones who are visibly producing output that would be painful to lose. An automation you built, even a small one, is a piece of infrastructure with your name on it. It runs while you are in meetings. It runs while you are asleep. That is leverage. One working automation is worth more to your position than 6 months of working late. So the first move this weekend is not to open any software. It is to spend 20 minutes writing down every task you repeat on a cycle. Weekly reports, pulling data from one place and putting it somewhere else. Sending the same type of email with slightly different details. Formatting files, chasing people for updates, sorting inbound requests. Most people have 8 to 12 of these. Write them all down without filtering. You are looking for the ones that have a clear trigger. Something happens, then you do the thing, and a clear, consistent output. If you can describe the task in one sentence with a subject, a verb, and a result, it is a candidate. Now pick the one that takes the most cumulative time per month. Not the most annoying one, not the most impressive one, the one that actually costs you the most hours. If you send a weekly status update by pulling numbers from 3 spreadsheets and pasting them into an email template, and that takes you 40 minutes every Friday, that is 240 hours per year. That is 6 full work weeks. That task is the one. Here is what nobody tells you about choosing your first automation. It does not need to be fully automated. A 50% reduction in manual work is a completely legitimate win. If you could help you, that is the target, not perfection. Auction. Now let's talk about tools briefly, because this is where most walkthroughs lose people. There are 3 that are worth knowing. The first is Make, formerly called Integromat. It connects web apps and services with a visual builder. You can see the logic as a flowchart. If your task involves pulling data from a form, a spreadsheet, or an email and moving it somewhere else, Make handles that without any code. The second is Python with a library called OpenPixel or Pandas, depending on what you need. This sounds technical, but if your task is purely about manipulating spreadsheet data, reformatting columns, merging files, generating a summary row, a 20-line Python script will do exactly that, and you can get it written with the help of any current AI assistant in under an hour. The third is Power Automate, which is built into Microsoft 365. If your company runs on Outlook and SharePoint and Teams, Power Automate is already available to you and your IT department will not need to approve anything new. Pick the tool that matches your task and your environment. Do not pick the most impressive one. Pick the one with the shortest path from zero to working. Let me give you a concrete example so this stops being abstract. A finance analyst at a mid-sized logistics company was spending every Monday morning pulling invoice status reports from their accounting system, copying the relevant rows into a tracking spreadsheet, and emailing a summary to 4 department heads. The whole process took about 55 minutes. She spent one Saturday afternoon building a Make automation that connected to the accounting system via a webhook, filtered for the relevant rows automatically, appended them to the tracking sheet, and sent the summary email on a schedule. Total time to build it, about 3 hours, including the time she spent troubleshooting a column mapping error. The Monday task now takes her 4 minutes to review before it sends. She did not ask permission. She did not announce it. She just stopped doing it manually and started doing something more valuable with that hour. That last point is worth holding. You do not need to announce your automations. In fact, the quieter you are about the mechanics, the more it looks like you are simply someone who gets things done efficiently. The output is what people see. Let the output speak. Now, the actual steps for this weekend. Saturday morning, do the task inventory I described. 20 minutes. Write it down on paper or a plain document. Saturday afternoon, pick your task, map it out step by step as if you were explaining it to someone who has never done it, and identify where the inputs come from and where the outputs go. That map is your automation blueprint. Saturday evening or Sunday morning, open your chosen tool and build a draft. Do not try to make it perfect. Make it work once. If it works once, it can work 100 times. Sunday afternoon, run it twice manually to confirm the output is correct. Then set it to run automatically or save it as a script you can trigger with one click. That is a finished automation. One thing that trips people up at this stage is the urge to expand scope mid-build. You start automating the Friday report and then you think, well, I could also pull in the data from the other department and maybe cross-reference it with last quarter. Stop. Build the small thing. Finish it. A narrow working automation you can demonstrate is worth 10 ambitious unfinished ones. And document it. Not a formal specification, just a plain paragraph describing what it does, what it connects to, and how to turn it off if something breaks. 2 minutes of writing. This matters because if you are ever in a role transition conversation, you want to be able to say, here are the systems I built and maintain, and here is what they do. That is a different kind of professional than someone who just shows up and does tasks. That is someone who owns infrastructure. The bigger picture is this. One automation this weekend is not going to change your career by itself, but it will do something more important than that. It will prove to you, concretely, that you can do this, that the gap between where you are and where you need to be is a few hours of focused work, not a degree, not a boot camp, not a career change. And once you have one working, the second one takes half the time. The third one, half again. This is a compounding skill, and you started this weekend with one task, one tool, and 2 or 3 hours. If you want to know how exposed your current role actually is before you start, what the realistic risk profile looks like based on what you do and how your work is structured, the link below takes you to a free audit. It is not a quiz that tells you everything is fine. It gives you an honest read so you can prioritize where to focus. Worth 10 minutes before the weekend.